Hello world, it is Tuesday, October 18th, 2022, and looking out the window at Defiance, it's a day of clear blue skies and sunshine, but cold. It was in the 30s this morning, and I don't think it's going to get very warm today, and it's going to get really cool again tonight, but I think we're looking at temperatures in the 70s this weekend, so it might be the last really nice weekend before winter starts to approach. Which is probably good for the farmers, because they need another couple of warm days to dry out the rest of the crops that are waiting to be harvested. The devotion for today is entitled Numbing Effect, and it's written by Kenneth Samuel. Kenneth bases the devotion upon Psalm 94, verse 8 through 9, New International Version. Take notice, you senseless ones among the people. Does the God who fashioned the ear not hear? Does the God who formed the eye not see? And then Kenneth writes, my favorite superhero is Spider-Man. Spider sense is amazing. Originating as a tingling feeling in the back of Spider-Man's head, Spider sense gives Spider-Man the ability to sense the threat of imminent danger and thereby take preemptive action to avoid or rectify calamity. Even under normal conditions, Spidey sense enables Spider-Man to navigate darkened rooms while instinctively avoiding obstacles and hazards. Spiders themselves are equipped with astute sensory organs. They sense the slightest movement or vibration through hairs and tiny slits distributed over much of their body. A spider's sensitivity to threat and danger is finely tuned. But we don't have to be superheroes or spiders to sense when something is wrong. God has equipped us with certain spiritual, emotional, and intellectual sensors, which allows us to be proactive in the context of imminent danger. And yet it appears that we are becoming increasingly desensitized to threats that loom over us. The proliferation of mass homicides, buoyed by mass proliferation of militaristic weapons in our society, has not yet provided sufficient incentive for sensible gun legislation. The ongoing depletions of the ozone layer, resulting in the increasing severity of floods and weather patterns on the planet, have not yet garnered the critical mass necessary to make climate change a national and global priority. And while American democracy itself is under the siege of voter suppression, election denial, the attack on the Capitol, and even the specter of civil war, about half of American voters appear to be oblivious. When an infant cries, it is a sign that something is not right. But when their cries go unattended for so long, infants stop crying and suffer in silence. Our greatest human tragedy may well be the numbing of our God-given sensitivities. Then Kenneth writes, God, the handwriting on the wall is apparent. Move us to read and respond accordingly. Amen. Well, a number of things went through my mind as I was reading this devotion, and one is more not a theological issue, but a scientific one. Kenneth talks about the ozone layer creating climate change and global warming, and that's not really true. I mean, there is an impact from the ozone layer, but steps were taken a couple of decades ago to reduce chlorofluorocarbons used in propellants, and in refrigerants, which was causing an increase in the ozone hole. But what's really causing climate change is the increasing amount of carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide in the atmosphere. That is really what's impacting climate change. But again, that's not theological, that's more scientific. But I do think that he's spot on, that we, as a whole, when we're subjected to different kinds of traumas over and over and over again, we can become desensitized to that. Maybe not traumatized ourselves, but seeing trauma in the world again and again and again, we become insensitized to it. And it becomes all the more important for us to pay attention to what's really going on and to want to make a difference. And the same can be true of our relationships with one another. I've seen so many relationships fall apart when couples become desensitized to one another. And sometimes it just takes a little effort or a lot of effort to become sensitized again and to really pay attention and to know that something needs to change before it's too late. And that applies to so many different situations, even situations in the church with the declining relevancy of church in people's lives. I think we've become desensitized to it in some respects. And I think we need to re-sensitize ourselves and consider different things that can make a difference in the life of people through the support of the church. So there's lots there to think about and lots to respond to. So resensitize yourself, become more aware, and start taking action. And know that God is with us and that we are the hands and feet of God. We are the hands and feet of Jesus. And we have the wind of the Spirit to keep us going. Hope you have a good day. Hope you can enjoy some of this sunshine even though it's a little on the chilly side. And I hope to see you tomorrow.